contract, almost as much money as Dotun Adebayo gets paid for 5 Live late at night. Lionel Messi, history maker, becomes the first man to play at 6 World Cups, extending his record with a 27th appearance in the finals. He's walking down the darkened tunnel now. His 200th appearance for his country, only the 3rd player to break the 2-ton mark. The players emerge into this massive stadium, 67,500 it holds. The holders setting out on their journey to become the first champions to defend their crown since Brazil in 1962, with 6 players starting tonight who started the final against France 4 years ago. No Tagliafico, he has a calf strain. Otamendi's only on the bench as they go with Romero of Tottenham and Martinez of Manchester United, both injury hit in the spring at centre-back. Facundo Martino fully filling in for Tagliafico on the left-hand side. 4 of the front 6 from Qatar start. Lautaro Martinez, who didn't score a goal 4 years ago, has been in brilliant form for Inter, is preferred to Julian Alvarez up front, and Thiago Amaro of Atleti replaces Angel Di Maria, who's no longer around. He will be badly missed. He's been the glue for Argentina over the years. The players are out. We'll go for a word from Leon in a few moments' time after the anthems. As we've seen in these World Cup finals, they line up on the edge of the centre circle. The big FIFA logo is there, and we'll have the 2 national anthems. They look really uncomfortable having their photographs taken. I've noticed it all the way through the
the tournament that you've been involved in, but you've actually got players to build for the future, players that are going to get
champions to defend their crown.
8, soon to be 39. Will he play all of the minutes? That's for us to find out.
39 next week. He turns his track back there and won the ball back just outside his own penalty area. It's rolled back by Romero to Martinez. Comes out then to Lisandro Martinez, who clears it away, but poorly. A little bit lucky there, Argentina. 0-0 on 5 Live.
Very fortunate. Just tried to clip a delicate one into the midfield from inside his own penalty area and actually got blocked by an Algerian player. There were so many players in there, and it ricocheted probably to 16 yards out centre of that Argentinian goal. Fortunately for him, an Algerian player's close enough to be able to capitalise on that.
Enzo Fernandez just picked the ball up inside his own half. He was the deepest of the midfield players there. There was speculation that he would play in front of Rodrigo de Paul and Alexis McAllister. He looks like a genuine midfield 3 as they swing it along to Thiago Almada. In comes across, first opportunity falling to Lautaro Martinez with a header from the edge of the penalty area, straight at the goalkeeper, Lucas Zidane.
Yeah, good play. I think eventually the assistant just put his flag up for offside, but that's what Argentina will do. When they get the ball into good positions, yes, they have Messi who'll roam around all over the place, but in Lautaro Martinez, they have a striker that wants to play in between the goalposts. He wants the ball delivered in there early. Did so on that occasion. Good header. Had it been onside, it would have been saved anyway, but good sharp start there at the top end of the pitch for Argentina.
Mentioned Argentina's form coming into this. Algeria have won 22 of the last 27 games they played, and they haven't conceded a goal in their last 4 games. In fact, they haven't conceded a goal now in 396 minutes since they were beaten by Nigeria back in January. It's an easy pace about the game. It's a pleasant evening to play football. Temperature around about 25 degrees Celsius. Clearing. It's been grey in the city today, where the river splits the 2 states, Missouri River. And here's Messi trying to pound those little aging legs down the right-hand side. Couldn't keep the ball in play. But the last 5, people say he's got no pace anymore. He hasn't had pace for really searing pace throughout his career over long distances. I mean, the last 4 or 5 years, he plays at his own pace, doesn't he?
Well, he's so skillful that he's able to do so. I mean, such good ball control.
And he's on goal here, and he scored! You couldn't write it. You could not write it. I think the flag's gone up. It won't count. But a lovely little 1-2 play with Lautaro Martinez. Big smile all over the face of Lionel Messi. He's about half a yard offside, or is he? Was he played on in the middle there, Leon?
Oh, it's so close. It really is. They'll have a look at that in the VAR hub. But I'm actually not sure he needed to be. I think he could see across the line. I think he just got a little bit overexcited, seeing that opportunity was going to come his way so early in the game. No doubt that he was going to finish it when he went through on the angle. Just pulled it to the near post of the goalkeeper, who expected him to go across to the far side of the pitch, but it's the far side of the goal. But again, that's a second nearly opportunity there for Argentina early in the game.
He has the small matter of 117 goals for his country. Now 2 caps behind Badr Al Mutawa of Kuwait, who has 202. And he's 28 behind Cristiano Ronaldo. He's played more international football than him. Is Hicham Boudaoui, one of the French-based players. And there's a possibility of a run from Rafif Belghali. He's up from right full-back. Big, broad-shouldered defender who will get up and runs willingly from the back as Argentina swing it to their right-hand side. 0-0 on 5 Live. Every game of the World Cup covered right here, including 5 o'clock this morning, Austria against Jordan, also in this group. Mike Miner and Sue Smith in the commentary seats for that one. Already seen Norway winning today by 4 goals to 1 against Iraq, and Haaland got a couple. I saw Kylian Mbappe scoring his goals against France, becoming their all-time leading goal scorer. They beat Senegal 3-1. It's a beautiful effort for their 3rd goal, after Senegal had scored a cracker as well. Ibrahim Mbaye.
It took a little bit to get going in that game, France. That kind of can happen at times in international football, but that's not the case for Argentina at the moment. Started this game already 2 decent chances. Yes, there's a certain style about Argentina. They don't necessarily go hunting the ball. They don't try and get in the opposition's face and really go press and win the ball back. But in their patience and when they get it, the technique and technical ability they've got at the top end of the pitch, they generally create chances.
Guri plays it back for Algeria. And out wide to the right-hand side it goes. Belghali, a couple of yards in from the far touch, halfway inside the Argentine half. It's a good break in, and a lovely ball into the penalty area. Chance for Algeria, they scored! Rattled into the back of the net by Fares Shaibi. And Argentina, having had 1 disallowed themselves through Lionel Messi, just offside as he dipped offside. Now see Algeria take the lead.
It's a really good goal. Technically excellent in the middle of the pitch. Just talking about Argentina's lack of intensity to go and win the ball back. That's not the case through their team defensively. That's where the questions will be asked of them in this tournament. But it's brilliant play right through the middle of the pitch. Just seeing again, it may be questioned whether that's offside as well, in the same way Argentina's was, but when played through on goal, Shaibi had a brilliant finish. Just again, as we described with Lionel Messi at the other end of the pitch, looked like he was going to play it to the far goal, chopped it into the near post. We're just hearing the VAR check is happening.
Offside. Both teams have been denied. Lionel Messi dipped forward and was caught by the VAR. We saw the replay, the line of that, and in the same way, I think Shaibi just dipped forward.
He did. I actually think the official should have got that one as well. I think this was more offside than Lionel Messi's one at the other end of the pitch, which was close. I think the official should be seeing this one. It was a decent ball. It's actually a really good ball through the middle of the pitch. I think it was by Mazza, a technically gifted player. Just put it in between the fullback and the centre half. Shaibi running onto it, went a little bit too early, rightly deemed offside.
They've got some really good players, Algeria, and I tip them as one of the dark horses to go deep into the competition. Amora had a fantastic qualifying campaign, 10 in 10. Riyad Mahrez is only on the bench. Samawa is only on the bench. Saw him come through at Lyon and progress there. But it's Argentina in possession with Rodrigo de Paul, central midfield, rolls to his left-hand side. And they try and burst through to the edge of the penalty area through Almada. It's cleared away. Enzo Fernandez, another challenge as he stalks away, much tattooed Enzo Fernandez. Where will he be next season? Just caught his man there, the follow through.
Yeah, I think he's unfortunate, to be honest. I think it's quite difficult to go to ground, win the ball, and then stop yourself from making contact after the fact. I think if you've won the ball cleanly, I think a certain level of touching the opposition, making contact, has to be permitted in the game. On that occasion by the officials.
Found Hicham Boudaoui there, who just escaped relegation with Nice this season. They won the relegation playoff. They lost the cup final. He's been a good player over the years. He's Ryan Aït-Nouri of Manchester City. He's brought down as well by Gonzalo Montiel. And all talk of Argentina as they were careering through CONMEBOL qualifying to finish 9 points clear at the top, fourth earliest qualifier for 2026. There was this doubt about their defence.
Yeah, there always has been. I mean, Sergio Romero in particular has had a difficult few seasons at Spurs. I think that's fair to say. He does need somebody around him to sort of keep him in place. Sandro Martinez has been good for Manchester United when he's played. Whether that's a long-term solution, yes, they've had success in the past, but there's always been questions about them, as you say, defensively. They're being asked questions here.
They are. Algeria on the attack again down there, left-hand side, no way through for Anis Hadji Moussa, but I think he's won the corner kick as Lionel Messi scuttles across and try and keep the ball in play. All eyes will be on him. He managed to force it out just for a throw-in, and it will be taken now by Ryan Aït-Nouri on this left-hand side. He's playing the League Cup final for Manchester City this season. He was only on the bench that day, and that's a foul, is it, by Aït-Nouri? Play on, says the referee, right down on the left-hand side by the corner flag. Goal kick is given as they tried to push Rodrigo de Paul under some sort of pressure.
It'll be interesting to see how this side of the pitch works out, just as we see the replay. Maybe it's a little bit closer than I thought. I still think the officials might get that one when they're playing, when you're looking at ones at the very top of the game, but not to be the case. That's what VAR is there for. Both teams haven't one ruled out, but I'm interested to see this side of the pitch with Montiel as a really attacking fullback. De Paul will want to go inside. He'll have real license to roam up against Aït-Nouri, who wants to do the same from that fullback position, wants to get up and engage. He is really good going forward.
And Montiel giving away that free kick a moment ago. His first contribution to this World Cup wasn't quite as effective as his last contribution to the last World Cup when he stroked home the winning penalty. 0-0, and Emi Martinez comes out of the Argentine penalty area, all in orange. Brings the ball under control, rolls it under his feet, then to the right-hand side here's Christian Romero, and out further to Gonzalo Montiel. He's 29, Romero's 28, Martinez is 28. Mendy, of course, would have been an alternative, but is only on the bench. Craggy old veteran. Argentina have it in the central midfield area with Enzo Fernandez, his 43rd international. But Argentina switches feet, wearing the pink boot, short-sleeved, up to the left-hand side. Into the penalty area, Lautaro Martinez has made the run, but the ball had too much carry on it and goes straight through to the goalkeeper, Lucas Zidane, who's playing only his 8th game for his country. Plays for Granada in the second tier of Spanish football. Started off at Real Madrid. His dad was there. Zinedine World Cup winner in 2006. What a tournament he had until the very, very last moments, and then was sent off. And Algeria have it, deep inside their own half. 0-0. Aïssa record 119th game for Algeria for him. They've given it away, and it's picked up here then by Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez tucks it back, centre circle. Striding forward is Christian Romero. Gets it back to his right foot, puts his foot on the ball, and then just rolls it backward a square to Lisandro Martinez. Both centre-backs aren't known for their calm decision-making at times. And that could be a liability if things go against Argentina.
Oh, it certainly would. And you talk about them defensively as well. And if you have a pair like that can go maybe missing in moments and lose their head or go disappear into midfield, you generally want to play a really calm head in front of them, a holding midfielder. But they've got Enzo Fernandez, who's plays more of a number 10 now for Chelsea, and Alexis McAllister, who again plays more of an advanced role for Liverpool, and he's not necessarily had the best season either. And those are the two protecting those two centre-backs at the moment.
A lovely spin, but he lost his feet just inside the Argentine half. Gallops back to win it back, young Fares Chaibi. Argentina lost their opener in Qatar, you remember, infamously to Saudi. What a result that was for Saudi Arabia. But they've lost just 5 games in 43 matches since then, and they have got out of the group 12 times in their last 13 World Cups. 2002 was the exception. Algeria only out of the group once in 4 attempts for them. Argentina have possession. Listen to 5 Live. And it's Argentina on the ball. Works out wide towards the right-hand side. Rodrigo de Paul playing wider, I think, than he did in World Cup 2022, or is that just my imagination? He's a big friend of Lionel Messi. They tell me he's very charismatic about the group. Bit of a leader in the dressing room. Here's Lisandro Martinez. Brings the ball out of play, over the halfway line, I should say. What a ground this is. What a famous stadium this is. In Kansas City. Now, Walt Disney once lived. Count Basie, if you're a big jazz fan, lived here. Big band fan, lived here as well.
There's been some success in this stadium. NFL Super Bowls that Patrick Mahomes has brought back to the stadium in recent seasons.
So it's history in football as well, as Messi now darts to the edge of the Algerian penalty area. Bends it, shot in. Oh, magnificent! Well, he's had one disallowed. There's no ruling that one out. Lionel Messi scores on his record-breaking day for Argentina. And the holders are off and running. He picked the ball up 25, maybe 30 yards from goal, strode into space, carried it on, as we've seen him do so very, very often. I was privileged to commentate on his first ever World Cup goal in 2006 against Serbia, and privileged to see that one going as well.
Yeah, and he's acting like it is his first goal, certainly with the celebrations, but also about the ability that he has. He just doesn't seem to age, this guy. He's still doing things now that he's doing when he burst onto the scene. It's a brilliant through ball into his feet in between the 2 lines of defence for Algeria, and as you'd expect, he takes it brilliantly on his back foot, gets turned, then runs at those 2 centre-halves, runs right through the middle of them, just gives himself that extra yard or 2, neither knowing who should come and try and put the block on. In the end, it's Mendy that gets closest to him, nowhere near close enough, giving someone of Lionel Messi's ability the opportunity to shoot from centre goal, edge of the D. And if you do that on many occasions, you will be punished, just like they were there. Brilliant. Another brilliant Lionel Messi World Cup goal.
Should Lucas Zidane have done better in that goal? He got his hands to it.
Yes, if we're being overly critical, but this is still Messi. This is still someone who scores such wonderful goals at regular intervals. Yes, well, the goalkeeper will look at himself. The top goalkeepers would expect to save that. But still, I'd rather marvel at that goal and the ability and the aura that he still has everywhere he goes.
In 2014, the Chiefs fans set a Guinness World Record for the loudest noise at a sports stadium. 142.4 decibels. That's like the noise heard when standing 30 metres from a jet engine. I'll tell you what, the noise when Messi hit the back of the net there was comparable. And all around the stadium, tens of thousands of phones came out to take pictures of the moment. And there are kids in this stadium that will never forget that moment as well. And the great and good watch on, and Gianni Infantino, who's everywhere.
He does seem to be getting about, doesn't he?
Do you reckon he gets an Uber?
Potentially.
Yeah, I think so, probably. But maybe stands on a street corner, hails a cab.
Yeah, the best way to get about the country.
That's right. Lionel Messi's goal separates the sides.
I was saying, will he be pleased he's turned up to witness the holders playing in their first game? Seeing Messi again never disappoints.
Got everywhere to give him credit in Qatar. I think he was at every game in the tournament because it was so easy.
I was going to say, I think it was a bit easier to get around in Qatar than it will be across these three countries.
You could do every game in a day as a fan, and a lot of fans cherish that. I know a lot of fans have found it very frustrating. And friends of mine who planned a dream holiday in USA this summer to watch England and go on and watch other countries just found themselves horribly priced out of it. 1-0 to Argentina. And don't forget, South America have not had a victory in this tournament so far, as Tim Vickery was telling Dotton before the game. Algeria have it with Rami Bensebaini. Been around a long while, 82 caps now. Grandad Salahanchi was also an Algerian international, out wide to the right-hand side. They've been playing badly, Algeria, up until that goal. They have possession now, Hicham Boudaoui.
I don't think there'll be any panic, really, from Algeria. I think we talked before the game at Amura, and, not starting the game. Riyad Mahrez not starting the game. Maybe it was a kind of thought of, let's make sure we're staying in the game, let's be competitive, let's get ourselves later on in the game, and hopefully those two could come on and make a difference. So that'll still be the case if it's 1-0, but they need to make sure they defend properly.
The two teams in this group, Austria and Jordan, meet in San Francisco later on today, 5 a.m. You can join Mike Minor and Sue Smith for that. At 7 o'clock, 5 Live Breakfast, World Cup reaction from LA, Rick Edwards and Rachel Burden. And then 1 p.m. breakfast in America will be there in certain areas. Steve Grossman live from the diner in New York. Joe Hart, I think, is among his guests there tomorrow. Today, tomorrow. It all gets a bit bewildering. All the time differences cleared away now by Algeria, trailing by a goal to 0. Again, DePaul covering across in the middle for Argentina, does that so well. Still got miles in those legs. He's 32 now, and he made his international debut for Argentina 8 years ago.
That's what they do. Wide men do come in off the sideline, fullbacks off of the width. Messi and Lautaro Martinez stay right through the middle, keep defending opposition players honest and keep them deep. Try and go up against the two centre-halves, make them go man for man at times. It's worked in the last tournament for them, Argentina, so didn't expect them to change.
He wasn't always a fan's favourite, you know, in Argentina. He went to Barcelona very early on in his career, and he was seen as a bit of a stranger, really, and not perhaps as an ideal choice as captain for many, but he changed all that in the build-up to Copa America in 2021. He's on the ball now on the edge of the penalty. A chip's too long that time. He gave the team an inspiring talk before the 21 Copa America final, and they won that. And that ended their sort of tag as chokers. They'd been beaten in a couple of copas before that. Pecho Frio was the tag, cold-chested, I think it means. And he helped them get over the line. And of course he's emerged as not just an Argentine national treasure, but a global treasure. You know, privileged to have seen him play in this era of the greats. Martinez for Argentina. Played the last 3 for Manchester United to prove his fitness. He played an hour and 45 minutes in their last couple of warm-ups as well. He stands and watches as his centre-back partner, Christian Romero, tucks it back on a diagonal, 10 yards away, back in the penalty area is Emi Martinez. Brings the ball under control. Wonderful season for Aston Villa with the Europa League, into the Champions League. There's muttering still, though. Will he be there? Won't he be there?
That's because he's a top goalkeeper. Certainly helped his team not only win those Copa Americas with some big saves, but also win the World Cup. You know, Messi thinks incredibly highly of him. There's been a couple of mistakes during this season, despite the success he's had for Aston Villa.
Until tight to the line, couldn't keep the ball in play. Algeria will have 8th throw, and now we come to the hydration break midway through the first half. We take this after 24 minutes on 5 left, with Argentina 1-0 up through Lionel Messi. Who else needs to have one disallowed as well? Where are you on the hydration break debate, that it interrupts the flow of things?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it'll probably actually benefit Algeria at the moment. They can get together and have a tactical talk about what sort of went wrong in the last 5 minutes after a good start, but they shouldn't be allowed this. There's no way this should be part of a game. It has in this World Cup become 4 quarters. There's no doubt about that. A lot of networks across the world actually taking an opportunity to go to adverts, which is not something we've ever seen within football before. Adverts during the first and second half, so it is unique. There is a way around it. You could, you know, make the drinks break smaller. You could make sure that they can't come anywhere near the coaches to make sure that these can't happen, these tactical team talks, because we've seen so many times up to now that the momentum in the game can completely switch within this, and it's so hard to wrestle momentum within a game of football, and suddenly when you've got it, it's now taken away by a hydration break. So frustrating, but there are stadiums and parts of the country, especially in the afternoons, that do need those moments to rehydrate. But when you get into the evening games, I'm not sure it's as necessary.
You know, Messi's now scored 5 goals from outside the box in his FIFA World Cup career, equaling the most of any player since Rivellino. It says here in the message I'm giving is 66. Rivellino was 1970 as well. We're just seeing again here on the big screens in the stadium for the delight of everyone. That finish, some finish, and Lucas Zidane is just left looking up and watching those moments on the big screen as well.
Yeah, he actually made it look better. He pushed it right into the top corner, didn't he? He got 2 hands on it. I think a goalkeeper will tell you, if they get 2 hands on it, that they'd expect to probably do a little bit better. What we didn't talk about was the impressive pass through the middle of the pitch into Messi. I think it was by De Paul. Literally squeezed it through the smallest of gaps. At least 3 Algeria players fired it into Messi, as you can do with a player of that quality. So then the magic happened. He took it on the back foot. Wonderful finish from there, but that ball really did set up that goal.
Well, Vladimir Petkovic, the Algerian manager, has taken every moment of that 3-minute break to talk to his players. Wily old coach, 27-year career, 8 clubs, the 2 countries now. And he knows what life is like out of football as well. He had a solid playing career, immigrated to Switzerland in '87, he's Bosnian. He worked for 5 years as a Catholic relief organisation, just to put football into perspective in his life. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Here's Christian Romero for Argentina, plays back to Lisandro Martinez. That's given away, though. Algeria have it back again, trying to skip in from the left-hand side. It's Anis Hadj Moussa. We haven't seen a great deal of him. Has it back again, with his long hair tied back, puts his foot on the ball, brings it under control, rolls back to Aïs Samandi then, born in France in Châlons-Champagne, as they call it there. Châlons and Champagne, as my old man would have called it back in the day. Steadfastly refused to follow any pronunciation guides. Argentina have possession on that left-hand side. They lead by a goal to nil. Ball rolled back then by Thiago Almada, who's filled in out there. Steady in possession, aren't they? I don't think they look in any problem now, but they did early on in the game.
Yeah, well, I think the game's kind of settled down a little bit, and neither team are really going in search of the ball. Neither team's really going to press. Algerians don't seem to want to be drawn about. Argentina in general don't do it. They don't get about. They don't go and try and win the ball back. And I think they wait for you to try and squeeze a pass through the midfield and pounce on it, and Algeria have been guilty of that. They've given the ball away quite cheaply in trying to progress the ball so far. I think Argentina have particularly worked hard to win it back.
He's Ben Sebaini. Started 6 games in qualifying for them to get them to these finals, their 5th finals. He won African Group G, 7 points clear of Uganda. A couple of surprises. They lost to Guinea at home, then they drew in Guinea 0-0. And that's the ball rolled out. A little bit too much zip out to the left-hand side by Shaibi. Too far in front of Ryan Aït-Nouri, who couldn't keep the ball in play.
There it is again, though. Actually, Algeria guilty of actually making a bad pass when there's actually opportunity there. As I say, Argentina don't work that hard to win the ball back. If you're just a little bit more cute in possession, opportunities will come.
Up against it here. The African side, who reached the round of 16 in 2014, went out in extra time to Germany. And of course, it was the scandal between West Germany and Austria in '82 in Spain that put Algeria out on goal difference as a German-Austrian game was manufactured, allegedly. This is Martinez for Argentina, 10 yards outside the Algerian penalty area, brought under control calmly by Alexis McAllister, and then Argentina keep possession. Here's Montiel and Romero back on the halfway line. His position under threat now at Tottenham. They've signed Jean-Paul Van Hecke from Brighton Hove Albion. And here's Martinez for Argentina. Had a bit of a finger injury in the last few games. Martinez. Messi in the blue and white stripes of Argentina. We won't be able to say that much longer. This will be his last hurrah. And he's chasing down like a young pup out there to try and put pressure under Aissa Mandi. He's given away the free kick. But he's left Aissa Mandi down, actually, holding the back of his right calf.
Yeah, you don't see him actually working that hard to win the ball back in general, but having given it away himself, he did try and win it back. And actually, it's not a pretty challenge. It really isn't. It's full studs down the calf of Mandi in that moment there. I don't think there was much sort of aggression to it, and I don't think there was much force to it, but it certainly didn't look good on the camera.
No, a player with lesser name might have got a yellow card, one might suspect, but Simon Marciniak, I've got huge admiration for him. He's been a FIFA elite referee since 2015. His 13th game at major finals, and in those previous 12, he's put up 32 yellow cards, which, let me tell you, is not a bad average at all for referees in international football at these tournament levels. That's pushed back by Hicham Boudaoui. Always had the ability, Boudaoui. He's now 26. Young Player of the Year at Nice back in 1920. Don't think he's necessarily kicked on. African Cup of Nations winner with Algeria in 2019. Now here's Gouiri dropping deep. Receding these days, Gouiri. And all these players short sleeve, sweat staining the back of his shirt, staining the front of the shirt of Ibrahim Maz. We've seen very little of the Bayer Leverkusen 20-year-old, which had such a great reputation. And Algeria in possession, back inside their own half. Now we have Bentaleb, pushes it back to the right-hand touchline, down the line by Belgali. You listen to 5 Live on the BBC with Algeria 1-0 down to Argentina. There's a little claim there by Thiago Almada that he should have had a throw in. And now Argentina will bring the ball out of play on that left-hand side. Someone was dumped to the ground, they're off the ball. I think it was Medina. Almada takes it long strides down their left-hand side for Argentina gives it to Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez carries on, but loses possession in the end, and Algeria will play it out. A little bit rough and tumble. It's a throw to Argentina. They lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, a little bit, I was just saying, a little bit scruffy there on that occasion, which I'm not sure Algeria will mind an awful lot too much. I think they need to break up the flow of the game before they can then re-seize control. I did expect them to start on a bit more pressure on Argentina, especially after that tactical break. I thought that the manager would have been saying, let's try and get in the faces, let's try and actually win the ball back a bit high up. I think Taro Martinez and Christian Romero can potentially be a bit loose with their passing if you put them under pressure.
It's a foul for Argentina by Guiri on McAllister.
Yeah, just a challenge, a centre-forward challenge, just coming back, trying to actually help his team out, trying to get the ball back. And as he approached McAllister from behind, he was just too clever, McAllister. Just a little look over his shoulder, saw him coming, just stepped across him with the ball. Nothing Guiri could do in that moment.
Imagine conversations he had when he was a little lad about what his father did. What did your father do, Alexis? He played football. Did he play with anyone famous? Diego Maradona. Only Diego Maradona in the same side. Here is McAllister, left-hand side of the centre circle, nudged out by Almada to that left-hand touchline. He's a good run now for Argentina into the box. Cross pulled back looking for Martinez on the edge of the 6-yard area. Couldn't get there, and Algeria cleared away, having conceded their first goal today since January.
Good play, Argentina. Good possession, good patience in doing so at first, and I'm surprised at the width getting into that penalty area and the cross coming in from a fullback. Continue to try and get them really high and advanced in their attacks, Argentina.
One clean sheet now in the last 14 World Cup games in the finals, Algeria, but they came into this with their best ever qualifying campaign. They won 8 games, got good players in the squad, one from the Premier League like Nouri, of course, 16 born outside Algeria, lots based in Europe, and that's going to be a free kick here against Algeria, challenged by Rafif Belkali.
Yeah, clever play from centre forward Taro Martinez. Just ran in behind. Belkali probably wrongly tracked the run, didn't need to go in deep on his own, and once he was in there, Taro Martinez was always going to be stronger, just got his body in the way, held the ball up. Belkali felt he needed to pull him to the ground, and a cheap free kick to Argentina.
And as he brushed Almada, he just caught him on the face. Almada went down, pinching his nose. He's okay now. Argentina have a free kick then. 5 yards in from that far touchline, their left-hand side, as they kick from left to right in this first half. It's Messi gone for goal. Well, that would have been outrageous. It's over the bar. A little bit of a grimace, a little bit of a smile, a little bit of a wry look on his face. He went for the outrageous. The free kick was 30 yards out. It wasn't that far over.
Yeah, and he's just the type of player that just seems to play at a really slow pace, and he just walks about, and then suddenly he bursts into life, and he looked like he wasn't interested in that free kick, and then 3 yards of run up and whip and real connection with that ball, nearly had his second goal.
Golden Ball in World Cup 2014 when they were runners-up. He looked a little bit sheepish when he won that award, but he was brilliant in Qatar. It's brilliant again from him as he sets up Martinez. Martinez, the cross into the middle, too far for Almada. But the way that Messi brought the ball under control, just went away and found his man out wide. And people are purring here about the performance of the great Lionel Messi.
Yeah, as they will. They're the kind of moments that everybody comes to see. Those moments that I'm sure will be flashed across social media once the game is finished, showing the moments of brilliance that he still possesses.
The teams have had a goal disallowed. Messi's for offside, Shaibi for offside as well. And here's Ibrahim Maza, just inside the Argentine half, chips it down the right hand side. There's a slight error on that far side from Facundo Medina, I think it was. There's cover from Lisandro Martinez, who scuttled across behind him and clears it away. It's the throw to Algeria. They've not been flawless, Argentina, that's for sure. It's been a big day for the big names. France winning, Haaland scoring a couple as Norway won. They've got the squad quality again to have a run deep in the competition, do you feel, Norway?
Potentially. I mean, when you look at the firepower they've got at the top end of the field, Erling Haaland, Odegaard, just to name those two players that can unlock the door. Who's played well as well on that left-hand side, have real ability, but that's the third game we've seen today. We've had Haaland, we've had Mbappe, I've got Messi. Wouldn't surprise if he scored his second.
Messi into the penalty area. They've got a chance here maybe to get the cross in. Argentina. Enzo Fernandez was in there, rolls it back. Messi was in support. He's full of running. He's full of zest and hunger. As he went to get on the edge of the penalty, it's cleared away by Algeria. They used him sparingly in warm-up games. Lionel Messi came off the bench against Iceland, scored from the spot. With 20 minutes to go, he came on in that game. They'll manage their minutes here for him. They go on to play Austria in Arlington on the 22nd, and then Jordan, the same venue after that. And if they beat Austria, I wouldn't imagine they play them against Jordan.
No, you'd expect it. 38, soon to be 39. They would use him sparingly, maybe. If they feel the game's done after an hour, they'd be taking him off most games. I'm sure he'll be pleased with that. I think he will still want to play as many minutes as he possibly can.
Algeria, centre circle. Out to the left-hand touch around Nori. Back again then to the central midfield area. Walking pace, Algeria at this moment in time. They have possession on 5 line. Where are they going with it? The heart of that half is Boudaoui. Boudaoui to the edge of the 6-yard area. Found there a good run in by Chaiba, I think it was, pulled it back. And it's away for a corner kick, but that's good movement.
Yeah, better from Algeria. We haven't really seen that since the first couple of minutes, or since that first burst where they had that goal disallowed. Good cut and passing through the middle of the field. Really just being brave, taking possession of the ball.
They have a corner, rolled in short. Now back it comes to Boudaoui. 10 yards outside the penalty. Arcs the crossing, met in the middle, headed well wide by Faris Chaibi. He seems their man most likely to.
Yeah, he definitely does. I mean, that ball, when it came into him on the second occasion, should have done a lot better with the header. First run he made that actually forced the corner was good. It was just probably a yard or two too much on the pass, meant he couldn't shoot at goal after some good play through the middle. But you're right, talking about him more than others.
One of the reasons Messi want to play as much as he can, he's now closing in on the world record for goals scored in World Cup finals, isn't it? And Mbappe moving a couple closer to Miroslav Klose today, and doing so becoming France's all-time scorer. And all-time scorer in World Cup football as well. Mbappe taking over from Just Fontaine. Argentina with a chance, ends up. Rolled to the edge of the penalty, it was Almada, I beg your pardon, came in off that left-hand touchline, and then let loose a right-foot shot that was always rising behind the goal. Stays 1-0.
Yeah, he always felt he was coming inside, and I think it was good pressure from Algeria, because on this occasion, Medina wasn't running around the outside of him. Algeria knew the only thing that was happening in the attack was Almeida coming on the inside, so able to put pressure on him.
One 0 to Argentina. Issa Mandi of Algeria has it. Walking pace, 10 yards inside his own half. Slightly right of centre. Side foots the ball forward to Gouiri, coming deep, the Marseille player. Scored 11 goals for them this season. Disappointing for him. French side, though, finishing 5th in the table. Not good enough for Marseille, though. And Argentina quite happy to let Algeria have the ball here. Lucas Zidane, the goalkeeper, comes way outside his penalty area to tuck it to Rami Ben Sebaini. Instead of trial at Arsenal back in 2013, did Ben Sebaini, played a couple of games under 21s. And he comes across towards this near side again to help out his left-hand side midfield player Nabil Bentaleb. It's a free kick here to Algeria.
Well, they blocked up the middle of the pitch quite well, Argentina. And those two banks of 4 quite structured. I say they don't go in search. Certainly Enzo Fernandez and McAllister don't charge around in midfield. They just shuffle across. They basically say, we're going to make it difficult for you to play the ball into the pockets in between our lines. Yes, they made it difficult, but there are opportunities. Algeria just still a little bit sloppy in possession when they're playing forward passes.
Would you be worried about the mobility of Nabil Bentaleb, this anchor man midfield player? I'll come to you on that in a moment, because this is a good opportunity for the shot that goes wide by Faris Chaibi. Jink to his right-hand side, 20 yards out, let fly, over it goes.
Yeah, again, that man Chaibi coming in off that left-hand side. As soon as there's a match-up in the middle of the field, and Maza and Badawi actually just come a little bit deeper, and maybe those Argentinian midfielders go with him. Chaibi just gets in behind on this occasion. Good touch with his left foot, but never really going to trouble the goalkeeper. Really poor finish.
All ended up in the hands of a spectator, thrown back, as they have to do here, because if they don't, the old Bill will feel their collar. I was going to say, Bentaleb in midfield, he's 31 now, a former Tottenham player. He's actually a free agent now again. He's never been the most mobile, big, chunky midfield player. Just played the ball back to Mandy, and a lot of the Argentine movements through that middle seem to have bypassed him.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for him. I think he's kind of trying to sit there on his own. Yes, Badawi is. That does have more license to get forward.
Got forward here now. Can they get the cross in? Chaibi hits the side netting with the cross, but his movement again is dangerous for Algeria, as Argentina still lead by a goal to nil.
Yeah, no surprise again. Just seeing, first of all, his effort going into the side net, and just as we see his one before, that is over the top of the bar. But talking Bentaleb, I think what's difficult for him is he's got two strikers behind him. Yes, his centre-halves are up against someone, and then there's Messi, there's Martinez, both over his shoulder. He's trying to stop the passing to both of them at the same time, and at the minute, he's not able to do either.
Crowd's just gone a little bit quiet. It's a free kick for Algeria. In this famous old stadium, catch it while you can. The Chiefs announced in December plans to move to a $3 billion dome stadium in Kansas as we move into 4 minutes of stoppage time. Arrowhead risks being demolished.
Yes, talking about moving states actually because of the location of the stadium. Would be a shame.
And here's Algeria's Gouiri trying to worm his way into the penalty area, tricked his way into the box. A covering challenge was there. I think it was by Martinez. It's away from an Algerian corner, deep in stoppage time.
They need more of that, actually. Aït-Nouri taking responsibility, getting at someone 1v1, because if you beat one of these Argentinian players, as he did on that occasion, now you're asking questions of other people. Then you'll get a Romero stepping out of his position to come and engage it. Football felt it. To Gouiri inside the penalty area, should have done better and got a shot away.
Chaibi, right foot corner kick into the middle of the penalty area, headed up and away for Argentina by DePaul, and out to this left-hand touchline. Chaibi has stayed wide, loops it back towards his own half, where Hicham Badawi, with the sort of long dreads tied up behind his head, returns the ball to his goalkeeper Zidane, way outside his penalty area. Under 17 title winner in the European Junior Championship for Spain in 2015, but changed allegiance to the country of his grandparents, and indeed Zinedine Zidane once thought about representing Algeria, still has it very close to his heart. Argentina in possession, far side from me, then on that far touchline Lautaro Martinez was working hard to get it back under control for his country. And Alexis McAllister, short pass to Messi, dropping deep. I say ideal conditions for the players, 25 degrees Celsius, I think it was when we kicked off, but they're taking their time. They're taking their time, Leon. This is walking pace now.
Yeah, they actually look like the heat's affecting them. I've got to be honest, when you said ideal conditions, it was about 12 or 13 degrees ideal for me to play football. Well, I liked it a little bit cooler than this is, but players are so used to playing all around the world now. I'm surprised when they're playing in different conditions. I did expect more energy, I think, from Algeria in this first half than we have actually seen.
Boudaoui lengthens his stride, white boots on him, tucks the ball to the left-hand touch, and Algeria 1-0 down. Now here's Aït-Nouri, again just lengthening that stride, tried to nutmeg Gonzalo Montiel, who got the challenge in and releases to the almost to the halfway line now as the ball is carried forward there by Almada. Was he fouled? He thinks he was. He's on his knees. He pleads to the referee. Hands out wide like the great Redeemer statue that hangs over Rio. But the referee not having any of it. And now Algeria into the penalty area with Guiri. Low ball into the edge of the 6-yard area. In fact, it was Guiri on the edge of the 6-yard area who nearly profited. It was Haj Musso who got the low cross in from that left hand side. I haven't seen a lot of the 24-year-old from Feyenoord, who had a very good season, scored 14 goals for them as they finished second in Holland. Sorry, Noel.
Oh, it's okay. Look, I was just going to say before that foul happened there that you were about to talk about. It's a little bit better from Algeria. That moved the ball a little bit quicker, got bodies into the penalty area, just like Ait Nouri on the left side. Musa took responsibility, tried to dribble past someone, get a shot at goal. It may have ricocheted to Guiri had he probably been a bit sharper and been on his toes a little bit.
Free kick here then to Argentina as we come to the end of the first half. We've already had 4 minutes of stoppage time, so this will be the last attack. We're playing now. Time added on by the referee himself. Will the target be Lautaro Martinez on the edge of the penalty area? As they look to bend this ball in here, Argentina. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up. Algeria in a line defensively, 7 men in green shirts. In comes across, and it was Alexis McAllister who got in there. Couldn't get over the ball and headed it over the bar. As the half comes to an end with Argentina leading just to 1-0 and Algeria have shown they've got enough about them to come back into this game, but the great man got the goal. He had one disallowed as well. It was a sparkling effort for the goal. Algeria had one chalked off. Chaibi offside. What have you made of it, Leon Osman?
I think the difference in the team is that man. You know, Messi, I don't think there's been an awful lot in between them. I think neither team's really had control of the game. I don't think either team's really dominated or made countless chances. But if you've got someone that has the creative ability that Messi has, you've always got a chance of scoring goals and being ahead. And it's a brilliant goal from him, the way he took the ball and popped it into the top corner from outside the penalty area. But that's the difference at the moment. So I think in the dress
Here's the chance. Orlando has landed.
Hi there and welcome to the Athletic FC podcast. We deal with the shock, first of all. Spain obviously being held 0-0 by Cape Verde, and just in general terms, quick reaction, it gave me goosebumps at full time when the Cape Verde players were celebrating. Your reaction, Jay?
Well, full disclosure, I didn't watch the first half.
Okay.
I visited my
Well,
gran.
that's all right.
I visited my gran yesterday. And then I saw it was 0-0 at half time, and I thought, I've just got to put this on in the background. And as it was getting closer and closer to the full-time whistle, I'm sorry, Gran, but I sort of tuned out what she was saying. But it was an incredible performance from Cape Verde to do that on their World Cup debut, to get a point against the reigning European champions. And I know Spain had basically the majority of the ball, so many shots on target, but I actually think that Cape Verde were reasonably comfortable until Lamine Yamal and Mikel Merino came on later on. But just what an incredible performance that they should be proud of.
We were saying on yesterday's show, I think it was Charlie was saying, you know, we'll see what happens with Spain against Cape Verde in light of what happened with Germany battering Curacao. Almost the expectation was that it was going to be, you know, maybe a cricket score, but it didn't happen and it felt good, didn't it?
It felt great. I think it is given... You know, I myself and a lot of other people have been quite critical of the fact that this is a 48-team tournament, feel that it would water down the quality of it. But firstly, the Curacao goal on Sunday and then that result last night, props to Gianni Infantino. You got a lot wrong in this tournament. But those moments are what makes a World Cup, and digging into, you know, the stories of some of these Cape Verde players. I mean, Pico Lopez, Irish-born, picked up on LinkedIn. Now, if that isn't a World Cup story that, you know, is a classic, then I don't know what is. And it got me thinking, like, How am I drafting that LinkedIn message? Like, hi, Pico, hope you're well. Great to connect. Congratulations on the 2-1 win at Drogheda this, like, that sort of thing. It's crazy, isn't it? And, there was a stat, I think, they'd only committed one foul in the whole game, despite Spain having so much of the ball. That's the fewest that's on record since 1966. Such a discipline, such an organised performance, and it needed to be. And it was a bit different from Curacao in that respect. He really took the game to Germany and got opened up and had that one moment with the goal, but Cape Verde have got a point, and it's huge, isn't it? And it also changes the complexion of the tournament going forward, because now you're looking at Spain and their path through the tournament. You're like, maybe it's not going to be as easy for them as we thought it would be. So, great result.
Let's get the reaction from Paul Bayus, who was in Atlanta to watch the game.
Hey guys, I'm in Atlanta and I've just seen Cape Verde holding back Spain in one of the best games in the group stage so far here in the World Cup. I'm just coming off the mix zone. I've been hearing Bozinha, the Cape Verde goalkeeper, speaking really emotional about what it meant for the country, what it meant for him. He wasn't even a professional up until his mid-20s, now at 40, being the man of the match of a historical game. And then, such a big game as well that leaves Spain with a lot of stuff to figure out, I would say. I think that they missed a lot of quality, possibly on the wings when Lamine Yamal came in. He was a bit rusty, but it made a difference. And I think that leaves Spain with the stuff to figure out, to improve in the upcoming games, possibly as Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal and players like this keep building up a bit their shape. Spain can improve, but it's something that nobody was expecting in the Spain camp. The mood was really positive, really good in this first week of the World Cup, and now this will possibly unsettle a little bit what's going on around the Spain camp. Let's see what happens in the next week, because the group stage is going to be more interesting possibly than many expected for the Spain team.
I just want to give full credit to Paul for how professional he was then, with so many people walking past him, etc. But I don't know about you two, but I can see the anger in his eyes. I think he's generally quite irritated, but has just done a very good job of masking it and to sort of praise Cape Verde.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, but I think, obviously I've met him a few times, I think I get a sense of, I'm pleased for Cape Verde, but secretly I'm baffled that Spain did not win this game.
Obviously, Paul mentioned they're having to bring on Lamine Yamal, having to bring on Williams as well. That was clearly not the plan. When you saw Dani Olmo being drawn on as well, is it down to a lack of preparation? Is it down to maybe complacency, just thinking that this is going to be an easy ride? I mean, and where do you rank it as well in terms of shocks of the World Cup? Is it the greatest ever?
Okay, I'll take that in two parts then. So I think the first one on Spain, I think most of us had them as favourites going into this tournament. I watched that performance yesterday and thought, this is a Spain team that's quite different from other Spain teams that we're used to in the past. They've got that element of directness to their play. They're good in transition through players like Yamal and Nico Williams. Have they perhaps lost a little bit of their ability to pick apart low blocks, to have a lot of the ball and find space and overloads and that kind of combination play? I still think they can do both, and I think we saw that at the Euros, and I think that's why a lot of people rank them as favourites coming into this tournament. But it seemed to elude them yesterday, and but again, like we used to, though, we're used to big nations sometimes starting slowly, and if you're comparing it to the World Cup shocks of the past, I mean, Saudi Arabia, Argentina in the very last World Cup, France, Senegal. France went out in the group stage that year, didn't they? So it's not always that necessarily a team will lose and then go on to become champions or get off to a slow start. I don't think it affects Spain's chances too much. I would be concerned about the low block issue, because I think teams have seen how to play against them. And I enjoyed the customary Rodri post-match crash out that he has after. Anytime they play a team as a low block, it's like, he's like, they didn't create anything. It's like you're playing a team that's got the population of Sheffield, of course they didn't create anything.
But they did. But on that point, they did, didn't they?
Well, they did.
They didn't. What's a nice way of saying it? They didn't do anything to the bed when they got the ball.
No, sorry. So Cape Verde didn't create
positions.
anything, but Spain did, and I think that's like they still had like 27 shots away, and you play that game 100 times over, Spain probably win it on a few occasions, and I think that's why there shouldn't be any overreaction really. But it's coming back to what I said in the previous answer as well. You get caught slipping once in this tournament, and then suddenly your whole path through it gets thrown off, and you're looking at it now, and they've got quite an increased chance, I think, of meeting Argentina in the round of 32 simply because they've drawn this game. That is the sort of thing why you need to be on it from every single game. We've seen it already this weekend with Switzerland against Qatar as well, who, I'm not saying Spain were complacent, but Switzerland certainly were for a lot of that game, just not taking their chances, not putting the foot on the throat, and they get punished. And that, I think, that shows the importance of just, playing at your absolute maximum every game, even if you think, look, we can probably beat Cape Verde without Yamal or Nico Williams or whoever.
Virginia is a great story, isn't it? And you were mentioning your gran, visiting your gran earlier on. There's a granny connection there as well, isn't there?
Yeah. So let me get this right. So his actual name is Josemar Jose Evora Diaz.
Of course.
Yeah. But he is called Vizinha because he used to run home to his grandparents if things didn't go his way, and Vizinha's Creole for granny. What a beautiful story.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's 40 years old, making his debut at this competition and has pulled off those saves and in absolute tears at the end, as Mark said earlier, that's what World Cups are all about. You sort of realise that sometimes, because in my lifetime, England have qualified for pretty much every single major tournament apart from Euro 2008, you take these moments for granted. And then when you see a country be given that sort of special moment, it sort of just reminds you why we all love football. So I think AFCON 2023 was possibly their first AFCON as well. So they're still very new to major international tournaments. They didn't qualify for this year's AFCON as well. So they are really sort of fresh to this type of experience. So that just gives them even more credit in the bank for pulling off the result that they did.
The third smallest nation to ever appear at a World Cup, population around 500,000. So they've got their first point, and everyone, I think, is now going to be fans of them as the tournament progresses. Elsewhere, as we mentioned, all 4 games resulted in draws, the joint most on a single day in the history of the tournament. There was also 4 on the 15th of June in 1958. Critch would have known that because he's a quiz master. We'll have more on the quiz later on. Egypt denied that first World Cup win by Belgium. Did we learn anything from that one?
I think it just reinforced the feeling that Belgium's golden generation is long gone. I looked at that lineup before kickoff and looked at the defence in particular and thought there was a point in time where they struggled to get Company, Vertonghen and Alderweireld in that back four, and Vertonghen would shift out to left back, and they just don't have the same quality anymore. And obviously it was a fantastic strike from ashore to give Egypt the lead, but I thought Marmoush looked really dangerous and he kept him getting behind the Belgian defence. I think playing Charles de Ketelaere, he's not a natural number 9, he's more of an attacking midfielder, so that didn't quite work for Belgium. It felt like they were sort of very over-reliant on Doku to sort of weave past 3 or 4 players and create something. So I think it just reinforced that Belgium are not the force that they were a few years ago.
I think the interesting thing from it as well is a point that a lot of people made, to be honest, but it's only 3 European wins from 10 games so far at the tournament, and those wins were against Curacao with Germany, Sweden demolishing Tunisia, then sacked the manager, and then Scotland against Haiti, of course, the 3 games that you would expect the European teams to come out on top in broadly. So it's been quite a poor start for the European sides, but then also it's been an even poorer start for South America. Indeed.
No CONMEBOL side to win so far. Despite you trying to sort of lift Brazilian spirits.
I'm not trying to lift Brazilian spirits.
You're wearing a blooming shirt.
Yeah, but I'm getting in the World Cup vibe. I'm not allowed to,
Of course you are. Let's get back on track. In terms of confederations, obviously, we mentioned about South American teams not winning yet. Uruguay won. Saudi Arabia won. Saudi Arabia looked good. Obviously, when Uruguay got back level, they could have gone on and won. But we mentioned Saudi Arabia in the context of a World Cup shock in the last tournament, beating Argentina. They look like they could be much more of a force in this tournament, having seen what they did against Uruguay.
Mm-hmm. My favourite bit of this game, and maybe our international audience wouldn't have seen this, was actually pre-match on ITV when Duncan Ferguson got schoolboy errored by Wyclef Jean. I don't know if you saw this.
No, tell me.
What's this? Wyclef Jean was doing pre-match punditry on ITV.
Of course. The Wyclef Jean of the Fugees.
Yeah. Of the Fugees.
Wow.
Who is of Haitian extraction.
Yeah.
So he was bigging up Haiti and then suddenly realised that he was in the studio with Duncan Ferguson. I don't think he quite realised who Duncan Ferguson was, so he was laying into him about the refereeing decisions in the Scotland game. Then reached out to shake his hand, pulled it back, went, psych. And I honestly thought there was going to be, a potential of a charge against rap sheet live on television. International audience may not have seen it. I thought it was the best thing that Wyclef Jean's done since Perfect Gentleman, to be honest.
Fantastic. I missed that. Oh, good. Thank you for bringing that to our attention worldwide. Right, let's just speak about the other game that we had yesterday. And Laurie Whitwell was focused in the build-up to Iran's preparations for their game against New Zealand, obviously due to the fact that we've had really difficult situation for Iran in the build-up to the tournament. Let's get his verdict on how the game went and all the instances off the field as well yesterday.
It's been a long day, an enthralling day. Lots has happened, not least the football at the SoFi Stadium, where I've just got back from. Iran to New Zealand to. But yeah, it didn't just start on the pitch, it started off the pitch actually. 8:30 I was in the courthouse in Los Angeles where FIFA were trying to uphold their ban on Iranian fans bringing the Lion and Sun flag into the stadium. But the judge ruled in favour of the FIFA lawyers, who said that because it's a private entity, a private company, stadium isn't a public space, so to speak, they have to buy a ticket to get in there, that they would be allowed to prohibit the flags from being brought in. So that was the end of the matter. No, it wasn't. A lot of fans were able to still sneak them in, smuggle them in, and we saw quite a few before kick-off during the game as well, where they're showing their allegiance, I suppose, to a regime change in their country. There was also a few actually that booed the national anthem and also cheered when New Zealand scored. So it was an interesting atmosphere, but the majority of Iranian fans is a big Iranian diaspora in Los Angeles. They were cheering for their team. Then you think the battles are done, the courtroom, the pitch? No, in the press suite as well. The head coach of Iran, Amir Galanoui, he took up the baton because he was frustrated, angry at the fact that they had to leave Los Angeles tonight. They're going back to Tijuana. He said that they wanted to stay an extra night, recover, go back at lunchtime tomorrow, but they were told by FIFA, by the US government, he didn't exactly say, that they had to leave immediately. So it's a story that will run and run, but that's Iran kicking off their World Cup in the United States with a 2-2 draw against New Zealand.
Yeah, thanks to Laurie. And obviously, as he said, it is a story that's going to run and run. Iran's next game in the group is against Belgium on the 21st, and that game, once again, is in LA. We mentioned it earlier on. I wanted to get your take on it, Jay, on the managerial sacking that we've seen after Tunisia got hammered 5-1 by Sweden. Sabri Lamouchi gone. Just one game. Why?
Well, this is actually the second time this year Tunisia have sacked their head coach. So they got rid of Sami Trabelsi after AFCON. They were eliminated in the round of 16. But Lamouchi hasn't even got to the end of the competition. So he's only
in this second half. No changes, I don't think, for Algeria, but I think that Argentina, looking down, have brought on Nahuel Molino for Gonzalo Montiel, who had that muscle tear and started at right back, but Molina, who was tipped to start, is on at the start of the second half. Then Argentina in their blue and white striped shirts, white shorts and white socks. I'll run you through the two teams in a moment's time. There's a good sliding challenge for Argentina on the right hand side. I think that was Molina who got in the first challenge of the second half, and Algeria pick it up on that far side. Martinez in goal for Argentina, and then you've got Nahuel Molina, that right back, Romero, Martinez and Medina, and then you've got De Paul, Fernandez and Alexis McAllister, with Lionel Messi and Thiago Almada supporting Lautaro Martinez. And Algeria with Lucas Zidane in goal, then Rafif Belghali, Ais Samandi, Rami Ben Sebaini and Ryan Nouri, the back four, Boudaoui, Bentaleb and Ibrahim Maza. We haven't seen enough of the 20-year-old in midfield. He's a terrific young player. And East Haj Musa on the right-hand side. Faris Chaibi, who's been lively on the left, supporting Amin Gouiri through the middle. Algeria with it all to do back in the World Cup finals for the first time in such a very long time, since 2014, a 12-year wait, trailing to Lionel Messi's goal. But they lob it out towards Rafif Belghali, arriving on the right-hand corner of the penalty area, loses possession, and Argentina will look to bring it away now. The ball tucked in short by Enzo Fernandez. Doesn't hit the target. And once again, Algeria pick it up. Been very quick to pick up anything loose inside the Argentinian half. And it crosses headed away by Christian Romero. Romero and Lisandro Martinez. Not really pressed so far in the game. But we just wonder, as Tim Vicky was saying at half-time, about the quality of this Argentine defence. At times it can look a little bit crumbly. And this is going to be cleared away by Enzo Fernandez, holding deep inside his own half. And there's a tumble there and a free kick for the challenge. And the free kick was given away by Hicham Boudaoui. What's going to happen in the second half, Leon Osman?
Well, I think I need a bit more sort of pace to the Algerian game. And you've just touched on one of the key facts there, is they've not asked enough questions of what is apparently the weakness of Argentina. That defensive stability. Balls into the penalty area. Romero and Martinez, can you get at them? Can you slip balls down the side? It's been pretty poor in that first half from Algeria in that sense. As soon as they got towards the final third, they were a bit sloppy in possession. And I expect to see a bit more from Ait Nouri. And they get the ball out to him a little bit more in advanced positions.
Lucas Zidane heads it away for Algeria inside his own penalty. Here's their left side defender now in Ryan Ait Nouri, French-born, as well as so many of the Algerian players. Settles for a throw. Argentina have qualified for the group stage, last 5 World Cups. And they've gone on, of course, famous as well. They've progressed from 5 of the last 6 round of 16 matches. In this World Cup, we have a round of 32 for the first time. The 48 teams cut down to 32. Lots and lots of games to be played. And this is a good, promising attack now for Algeria. Running from that far side from Ibrahim Mazza. Takes a tumble. Argentina pick it up once again.
It was a good ball into Mazza from Bentaleb. Really got in between the lines. Once he picked the ball up running at the defenders, he probably should have done a little bit better. He had his eyes on the ball rather than picking his head up and looking where he was going to progress it. Easily tackled in the end.
Don't know the crowd here today. The stadium holds this tournament over 67,500. If it touches that, we will be at the 1.25 million mark already for crowds in this tournament after, what, 18 games, 56 goals now scored. At over 3 a game, that's a better average than the last 2 World Cups.
That's what we want to see, isn't it? More goals, more entertainment. All the quality players stepping up as they have done so far today.
Medina for Argentina. Inside the Algerian half. Well worked by Argentina. Out wide towards the left-hand side. Into the penalty area it goes. It's going to be blocked. Messi pushed it into the penalty area. Breaks away. Ibrahim Mazza now for Algeria. They have possession inside their own penalty area. Ryan Ait Nouri, very tight. Good press by Argentina to win it back. Messi steps inside. Will he have another go here? Left foot, he did. But it's over the bar this time. Bending, but he couldn't keep it down.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes off his seat there as the camera went on to him inside his box, inside the stadium. As you mentioned, it was a good press from Argentina. We certainly haven't seen that on many occasions this evening, and actually it won them the ball in a good position. Ball ricocheted, good pass into Messi, who you want it to fall to. Outside the penalty area again, this time nowhere near got his quality right. Up and high over the crossbar, never troubling the goalkeeper.
More games up and coming for you on 5 Live. BBC Sounds Austria Jordan in this group J at 5 o'clock with Mike Minus, Sue Smith, and 6 p.m. Portugal, DR Congo. You bet Ronaldo will want to play there now that Messi's done his 6 World Cups thing and broken the record. Ali Bruce Braun and Chris Sutton on duty for that one, and John Murray and Paul Robinson, England's goalkeeper, will bring you England-Croatia in Group L as England get their campaign underway. You've seen the big names flourish today. Will we see the likes of Harry Kane flourish a little bit later on? Aïssa Mandi now for Algeria, with lime and white-coloured boots, strokes the ball up for the runner that is Hicham Boudaoui. He's done a lot of their running from midfield, couldn't bring the ball under control, and a lot of work. I'm not too sure about his end product or his calmness on the ball, Leon Boudaoui.
No, not at all.
Oh, here's a chance for them. Right, Nouri pushed on as Argentina failed to get it away. Boudaoui sweeps in with a challenge. Argentina have it. Martinez plays out wide for the right-hand side. They've got an opportunity here now. Argentina. Molina pulls it back into the penalty area. Will it come to Messi? No, it's cleared away. Desperate clearance away it was by Samandi going to grab. Argentina on the break there looked promising, but they just didn't have the power or the pace.
You mentioned Badawi in the middle of the pitch. He lost a crucial tackle in the middle, and it allowed Argentina for that counter-attack. As you'd expect, Messi released the pass to Molina down that right-hand side, and he just looked like he didn't want the ball. He looked like he was lacking pace. He didn't want to go direct for goal. He was always looking to see who had support and who was up with him in the middle. And in the end, made a really poor pass and allowed Algeria to recover.
Argentina with the ball, centre circle. Nudged out to the far side by Alexis McAllister, to the right-hand touchline then. Molina down the line. Molina of Atletico Madrid. He's been injury hit as well. His last appearance for his club was back the start of May. A lot of players coming into this tournament with wear and tear injuries. That's one back strong in the midfield. Great challenge by Enzo Fernandez. And Argentina look to move forward. Messi inside right position, carries it 10 yards. Good ball to Martinez, edge of the penalty area. Lautaro Martinez cuts it back across goal, pushed away by Zidane. And Algeria cleared away. Best chance of the second half so far.
Yeah, really good. I was surprised to see Messi. Lautaro Martinez heavily involved. Good through ball from Messi. Actually weighted it really well. And really good from Lautaro Martinez as well. It was a clever first touch. Only a half a yard first touch with the outside of his foot, just to give him a better angle to then chop the shot back across himself. Keeper made a smart save, but that's what I expect to see more from Argentina. Expected to see more quality, more opportunities at the top end of the field.
Doesn't he look like his dad, Lucas Zidane? He looks like a young Zinedine. He's not as broad as his dad. His dad was like a cruiserweight, but floated like a flyweight on the pitch. He had that ability just to float across the pitch. One of the most wonderful footballers there ever has been, as Rafif Belghali heads back for Algeria into his own penalty area, and Zidane is there. 28 years of, still think of him as young Luca, but he's 28 now. Algeria 0, Argentina 1. Algeria have possession with Guiri dropping deep, and he takes a challenge as he turned out wide to the left-hand side. The referee's having a look. No free kick given. He's now pointing to this near touchline. There might be movement on the bench. There is movement on the bench. It's a double Argentine substitution, and Julian Alvarez is going to come on, and Nico Gonzalez is going to come on for them. So they've already made 3 now, Argentina, and the referee's not happy with what's going on, and will trot across because they're taking too much time. And don't forget, substitutions now are being timed. Player must leave the pitch within 10 seconds, otherwise the substitute coming on will have to wait at least a minute. Gonzalez on for Argentina. Alvarez is on as well. Going off Almada and Lautaro Martinez. What did you make of, because this is this big debate for Argentina, should it be Alvarez, should it be Martinez? What did you make of his performance today?
I thought it was okay. I thought when the ball came his way, I thought he was competent in what he did. I thought that shot at the end was a good bit of movement and a decent effort on goal after a good touch. I don't think Argentina have attacked with real pomp and purpose for the majority of this game, and I think if you don't, I think if you're quite passive in your possession and you're actually just content with football on the halfway line, as the strikers don't get used, they'll get frustrated. Maybe it'll be different for Alvarez as this game moves on now. Maybe he'll get a bit more of the play.
1-0 to Argentina. Lionel Messi got the goal. Are they too reliant on him? Is everything through Messi? Will that be a problem as the tournament goes on for them? Algeria now have the ball with Rami Ben Sebaini. He's been a good player through the years. Started at Paradou back in Algeria. He's played for big clubs, Borussia Mönchengladbach, now Borussia Dortmund, of course, won the cup in France with Rennes. Here's Algeria have the ball. 10 yards in front on the far side. Ryan Aït-Nouri has got forward progressively down that left-hand side, as he's wont to do. Dropping deep now is Ibrahim Maza. Been a little bit disappointing today. Hasn't flourished when he's had the ball. They've been quick to close on him, Algeria, mind you. Argentina. Chaibi was involved. Chaibi back to Maza. Maza tries a shot. just outside the penalty area. Well blocked by a diving Argentine body. It comes back to the halfway line.
Unfortunate there. That was the first time Algeria have got just about 5 or 10 yards outside the Argentinian penalty area, and actually been good in possession, a good bit of interchange of passing, stretch the Argentinians, not give the ball away. And as you mentioned, it took Sergio Romero come bursting out to block that shot after a good bit of play from Mazza.
Amado was the other Argentine to go off, by the way. He did a lot of defensive work on that left-hand side, didn't really get a chance to shine going forward. That's a throw to Argentina. What do you make of him?
I think that's the kind of the way that Argentina won the World Cup 4 years ago. I think that, you know, the other 10 players around, include the goalkeeper, around Messi, know that there's going to be a lot of hard work. There's going to be a lot of work off the ball. They're not going to necessarily get the moments they might get for their clubs where they get to get the limelight. It's all about doing what they did in the first half, be competitive, be compact, be organised, and knowing that when big opportunities come, Messi will take it.
Algeria have the ball deep inside their own half. Luka Zidane. Argentina play a little bit like their manager is, very pragmatic. He comes from farming stock, Lionel Scaloni. You remember him, he's a right midfield player, had a spell at West Ham United on loan back in January 2006. Very pragmatic man. And that's what they played like here today at times, knowing their strength. The strength is Messi. In comes across this time. It's looking for Nico Gonzalez, and it's a stretching defensive clearance that releases the pressure from Aissa Mandi. Good clearance that facing his own goal. Swept in, got it away for a corner. Yeah, important as well. And just as Algeria, as the game goes on, are starting to put a few more people forward, Argentina are having opportunities on the counter-attack, and that's a second occasion now, and that's when they've looked at the sharpest and the space to run into, when you've got Molina or De Paul running down that right-hand side behind those spaces that Algeria are leaving. Good ball into the middle, and an important bit of defending from Algeria. Julian Alvarez is making a run towards this near side as Messi prepares to take a corner kick. He's been told to go back into the penalty area. Messi will take this end, left foot, he's peering into the box. He'll swing it in left foot low and flat. There's a little flick on at the near post area by Alexis McAllister, and Algeria clear it deep inside the Argentine half. Emiliano Martinez has come out to the centre circle and spreads it away wide towards Leo Messi. Messi to Nico Gonzalez, to the edge of the 6-yard area comes the cross. It's headed away well. Comes out then to McAllister, drove it back in, spilled by the goalkeeper. Messi gets his second. And Argentina have a 2-goal buffer. And question marks over the goalkeeping of Lucas Zidane there. 2-0 to Argentina, and Messi has them both, and he's now one off the record held by Miroslav Klose of World Cup final goals. Yeah, I don't know if it did take a deflection. If it didn't, it was really poor goalkeeping from Zidane. After a good bit of attack, there's been a bit of a burst in the last 5 minutes from Argentina. Another corner cleared, good ball back in from Martinez, the goalkeeper, out to Messi on that left-hand side. No surprise, good first touch. Plays it onto the left side for Gonzalez, who runs in. He puts the ball into the penalty area, cleared for about 15-20 yards. Maybe 10 yards, beg your pardon, outside the penalty area to Alexis McAllister, who has a good first touch, hits it hard and low. Just about to see now whether it did take a deflection. Oh, it didn't. Maybe it swerved a little bit, trying to defend the goalkeeper, but it's really poor. It comes right to it, the centre of his body, and he just bundles it, fumbles it away from himself right into the middle of the goal. And the one person on the move as it comes back out, 8 yards out centre goal, is that man Lionel Messi. Algerian defenders stood still, one person on the move, and he very calmly just sort of control passes it with his right foot into the bottom corner to give Argentina a 2-0 lead. 15 World Cup goals he has now, Lionel Messi. He has 119 in all for Argentina. He has 919 club and international goals. The phenomenal Lionel Messi. Greatest of all time? Is it a debate really we should be having, or should we cherish both he and Ronaldo? Well, it's an interesting debate, and I don't think you'll get a definitive answer from everybody. One thing I will say is they've made each other better. In comes a cross from Belgali into the Argentine penalty area. where it's headed away by Alessandro Martinez. He comes scuttling across to pressurise Anis Haj Musa, and he didn't do anything reckless there. He just came across a little bit of pressure, maybe a little bit of a bump, but he didn't go launching himself in. Alessandro Martinez sent off a couple of times in his career. His centre-back partner Christian Romero has been sent off the 9 times and needs to watch himself in these finals. And again, I think they'll manage the minutes of both those players. Massa loses out and Argentina have it back again. They've been very good, very competitive in the heart of their midfield. De Paul and McAllister and Fernandes, they've dovetailed very well in there, haven't they?
Yeah, De Paul just comes in off that right-hand side whenever they start to become under pressure. Argentina just bulks up that midfield. They become a trio all of a sudden. McAllister and Enzo Fernandez just make it difficult for the opposition to play through. And it sort of comes back to that talk of Argentinian players know what they are. They know they're a team that have to work hard. They know they're a team that provide opportunities for the great man at the top of the field, and looks what happened. You know, they've got themselves in that position again. Very, very good work from them as a team. Nothing outstanding with regards to dominating possession, creating multiple chances, but Messi's got 2 goals.
Yeah, Mahrez is going to come on for Algeria, and also Amora and Aouar as well. Well, these are 3 talented players they brought onto the field of play. Gouiri has departed for Algeria. Haj Musa is going off as well, and Boudaoui is the 3rd of the players who've gone off. Argentina try and force their way through on the edge of the penalty area. Can't get through on the edge of the penalty area. A little bit sorry for Gouiri. He didn't have much of a chance to shine. Haj Musa was largely anonymous, wasn't he, in the game?
Yeah, he was. And again, that comes down to Algeria not being good enough in his areas of the field. They get to the top end when they need to keep good possession, when they need to find the right pass, allow him to be in possession of the ball. He's giving it away far too cheaply.
Amora might cause them a few problems, Argentina, but it's Julian Alvarez who's pressurising a clearance out of Rami Bensebaini to get the ball out of play for a throw into Argentina. Bensebaini trots back. Little lock of jet black hair tumbles down on his sweat furrowed brow. And now Argentina switching to the right-hand side, leading by 2-0. Lionel Messi with 2, following up Kylian Mbappe, who got 2 for France in their 3-1 win against Senegal. Following up Haaland, who got 2 for Norway in their 4-1 win earlier today against Iraq, who briefly had come back into the game. But you can't see Algeria coming back into this one, can you? We've got some 25 minutes to go.
No, you can't, especially this man through again.
Messi on a hat-trick. Brilliant save this time by Zidane, who palms it up and over the bar, but Messi suddenly, over 3 yards, had gone away from the defender, and his shot is blocked and pushed over by the goalkeeper, who needed to make the save.
I just get the feeling that he watched Erling Haaland score 2 today, and he watched Mbappe score 2, and actually thinks he wants to go one better. It just bursts into life brilliantly. He'll be disappointed he hasn't scored that, running through on goal. Knew he didn't have the pace to get away from the defender, centre of the goal, probably in the D by the time he hit it. Well, the goalkeeper made a save.
Fans all around the ground, sort of bowing in mock prayer to Lionel Messi, the great. Here's De Paul for Argentina. They work it to the left-hand toucher. Julian Alvarez trying to burst into the left-hand corner of the box. Saw ghosts as he played it square to the right-hand side. And Aouar has it for Algeria. Away it comes then as he looked for Massa. And a stonking Argentine challenge gets it away. They're really enjoying themselves. Goodness me, Scaloni smiling. He raises a right arm, his little sweat patch underneath his left armpit. He will be pleased to see when he sees that picture, but he was smiling there.
He was, because his team are in a nice position, and they've worked hard to get here, and at the moment they're the team creating chances and looking like the next goal. But after that triple change from Algeria, I think this is the actual side I probably expected to start the game, that I expected would be competitive for it against Argentina in this moment. And already there we go, just a little bit of play getting down the left-hand side, and nearly creating an opportunity, maybe just starting to look a little bit sharper in those better areas of the pitch.
A few words exchanged between Nouri and De Paul as it's a throw-in now to Algeria there. Well behind here, chasing the game. Two for Lionel Messi. One he had struck off, gone close again. We've been playing 67 minutes on 5 Live on yet another busy day of World Cup football, with Austria-Jordan to come at 5 o'clock. And then 6 p.m. Portugal-Congo, 9 o'clock the big one, England against Croatia. Don't miss that. Group L kicking off with Ghana against Panama a little bit later on, when I'll be working with Efan Ikoko. And then 3 a.m. In 24 hours time is Uzbekistan against Colombia in Group K. That's the Portugal group. Johnny Adam and Lee Blakeman on your commentary duty that day. The first of 6 games to be played in the Arrowhead Stadium. Oh, sorry, Kansas City Stadium, we must call them what FIFA want us to call them. But everyone around the world will know it as the Arrowhead. If you've watched any American football, indeed NFL has not only been played here, but football as well over the years. In comes across from Algeria's left-hand side, guided away by Facundo Medina, the left-back for Argentina, Marseille player. Can they get across in here with Riyad Mahrez, his first contribution from the bench? Looks for Chaibi, there's a good shot from the edge of the D. How war it was, he's talented, he bent it, went wide. Watched him develop at Lyon over the years. He's now playing at Al Ittihad. He had a spell at Roma. That's not a bad effort.
No, not at all. I talked about those changes just as we go for the hydration break in the second half. Talked about those changes when they were all involved there. Riyad Mahrez, Amoura, ball coming in. Chaibi was as well before Aouar had that shot, probably 20 yards out on the angle, never quite bending towards goal, always bending away from that far post of Martinez. But better, they went from one side of the pitch to the other, and 5 yards outside the goal. They didn't give the ball away. Mahrez bringing a calmness to that attack in particular, with a couple of touches in important moments. So maybe the changes will actually help Algeria.
Another record for Lionel Messi, not just 6 World Cup finals appearances, record set today, not just 27 appearances in those finals, extending his own record, not just 200 appearances for Argentina, the first in his country's history to hit that mark. He's now the oldest player to score 2 or more goals in an FA World Cup match. At 38 years and 357 days, he passes Roger Milla, who was 38 years and 34 days when he scored twice against Colombia for Cameroon in 1990 and danced around the corner flag. And it's 20 years, was 20 years today since he scored that first World Cup goal against Serbia, when I was lucky enough to be on commentary duty for BBC TV that day. It was a wonderful Argentine performance, and he burst into the global consciousness that day, and you thought they were going to go on and win it, and they didn't. And that's the thing about World Cups. First round matches, first games in the World Cup, need to get off to a decent start, but you don't win the World Cup after game 1.
No, not at all. I mean, Argentina lost game 1 and went on and won the World Cup. I think Spain did as well the year they maybe went on and won it. So yeah, I mean, quite often we get carried away. We wait for so long for a World Cup to come around that we get so excited as soon as it comes on, whether we're there or whether we watch it on TV, listen on the radio, that we can get swept away with performances in the first round. But can we think back to those winners of many a year? They get better as the tournament goes along. They improve, they become a bit more fluid as the game goes on. Those that tend to start the tournament well don't necessarily finish it well. Going back to your point on Messi becoming the oldest player, I'm sure someone will be trying to break that tomorrow.
Oh, he'll love to. He'll be watching on. He'll be spitting feathers, won't he, tonight? Cristiano Ronaldo. He'll be desperate to play a role for Portugal, that's for sure, against DR Congo. That's at 6 o'clock. Later on today, of course, in the UK. Goal kick to Argentina as we resume after the hydration break. The fear is that hydration breaks, call it what you want, will be used in other leagues now as TV companies see the possibility of advertising breaks and so on and so forth. A lot of TV companies around the world are already doing that. One was fined heavily by FIFA for not getting out of the advert break on time. But can you really see a hydration break in Liverpool on a really rainy, when the sleet is coming down in February? Can you?
Well, you'd need to call it something else, a warm-up break or something for the fans. It's not something we want to creep into the game, is it? I mean, football is what it is. It's a game of two halves. We don't want it becoming quarters.
Ball rolled back to goalkeeper Emi Martinez. He's not had a save to make, really. In the D, rolls it forward 2 or 3 yards, points where he's going to play it, and then heaves it out to Nico Gonzalez on loan at Atleti from Juventus. Loses possession, and Mundi tucks it back to his goalkeeper, who's under a bit of pressure there from Julian Alvarez, and so chops it out to the right-hand touchline. 2-0 to Argentina on 5 Live. Riyad Mahrez now bundled over after the ball had gone. Alvarez, right-hand side of the penalty area. Messi's gone down. There was a challenge from behind. Referee's had a look, but is having none of it. Simon Marciniak, the Polish referee. Interesting to see that one again. It's all the way back now at the feet of Emi Martinez. Listen to the boos. Everyone in this ground, I think, apart from the Algerian fans, want to see a Messi hat-trick. And Martinez is just, well, crosswise with Romero, who's glared back at him. Martinez passed it out to him. Romero let the ball run past his toes and out for a throw-in.
And Algeria very quick to take it, so no further VAR can be thought about. Ball's back in play. Quite clever of them in that sense. The referee out under I've no doubt that he didn't feel it was a penalty kick. And I think the referee tonight, but also across the tournament, they have tried to allow tackles to happen, play to continue, not allow players to go down easily, expecting cheap free kicks. I've kind of liked it. I really have. I think it's improved the game.
I think the fact that we've not seen goalkeepers go down in the last 10 minutes of a game, injured, and players going back to the touchline and getting tactical advice, that's improved the game. The throw-in 5-second countdown rule, I think that's improved the game. I think the 5-second goal kick rule has as well. And speeding things up, as Leon was just saying there. It's the free kick here for Argentina. Oh, Zinedine. We've seen a picture of Zinedine in the stand. Zinedine Zidane shaking his head up there as he looks out on son Luca. He spilled the shot for the second goal. Could he have done better for the first? And was that a penalty we were just referring to a moment ago, Leo?
Yeah, as we see it again, I think we wouldn't have been surprised had it been given. There was a potential barge in the back, but I think the referee's just been consistent. I think he's allowed that kind of challenge and that kind of contact all evening. Would have been a surprise had he given that one on tonight's viewing.
No rule about a referee taking 2 World Cup finals. I don't think they do it. But I honestly, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, I think he's right up there amongst the best in the world. He hasn't pulled out a card, has he, today?
Nope.
And it has been competitive. Argentina leading by 2-0. And we've been playing 75 minutes. And don't forget, everything about this World Cup is right across the BBC. And Messi has it centre circle and takes 2-3 touches, lengthens his stride, nudges to the left-hand corner of the penalty area. Gonzalez back to Messi, out of the D, penalty area, plants his shot in, gets his hat-trick. What a story, what a story. Lionel Messi hat-trick. In the opening day of Argentina's World Cup defence, Lionel Messi joins Miroslav Klose on 16 World Cup goals in his 200th appearance for his country. Records are made to be broken by Lionel Messi. 3-0, he's got the lot.
And he never ceases to amaze, does he? In a country where he now plays his football. And they're used to seeing him produce magic moments, but he's at it again. And this Argentinian attack is all about him. They win the ball, and the first thought is, where's Lionel Messi? They give him the ball in the centre circle. He's got a runner ahead of him, a runner right, a runner left. He propels the ball forward. I'm on 15 yards before he decides to go left to Gonzalez. And there's only one thought in the mind of Gonzalez. I'll take a touch and I'm just going to give it straight back to him. In doing so, The Algerian defence had just dropped away from it. He just held his run. Messi about 5-10 yards outside the penalty area. First touch out of his feet, as you'd expect, wonderfully positioned. Another little touch just to move it where he needed it to be. And then he hit it hard and low to the goalkeeper's right, full stretch, cannot get there. And that is a wonderful third goal to make a hat-trick in his opening game of a World Cup again.
Marvellous magic man Messi. A hat-trick from him, the great man. And he was smiling as he went to be congratulated by his Argentina teammates, and he had a couple of words, and I wonder if one of those expressions was to one of his teammates. Now, Cristiano, let's see what you can do tomorrow. Here they come again. Algeria look a broken team. He's played back now to Alvarez outside the D, checks back to his right foot, smothered in the end, and Algeria looked to clear it away, but they're leggy, their shoulders are slumped, heads have gone a little bit here now. But they do have a chance to bring it away until Mazza lost possession and got a shoulder in the face for his trouble. I think it was Alexis McAllister. He stayed down. Not been his game. He's looked a little bit bewildered out there today. Referee stopped it because it could be a head injury, and Argentina are going to bring on 2 more substitutes now. But the day has been stolen in the end by Messi. He's watched Mbappe get 2, he's watched Haaland get 2, and he's gone one better and gets the third.
And I think that's what makes him a great player. I think he's watching others around him and always asking himself to do more, wanting to produce more, wanting to be the conversation, wanting to make sure he is at the height of what we're talking about after round 1 of this and every World Cup that he plays in. He's at it again. And that's about to be his last action. No surprise, really. He's certainly done enough. At 38, soon to be 39, you want to protect his legs, make sure he's got enough in each game to be producing moments like this. He's laid the gauntlet down for the other best players in the tournament. He might be old, but he's certainly got enough in his legs to be producing moments of magic, and maybe even enough to give his team back-to-back World Cups.
Wonderful performance as he goes off. Romero has gone off, Otamendi has come on, and Nico Paz of Como has come on as well. Attacking midfield player, he'll take the place of Lionel Messi, and Otamendi will go into the defence, of course, in place of Christian Romero. But it's all about Messi, and as he went off, I don't know if you noticed, Leon, the fans were again doing the opponent's thing, was mock prayer to Lionel Messi, and some of them were just mouthing, you could lip read them, just saying thank you, thank you. They weren't necessarily Argentina fans either. They were just people have come here and wanting to see a Messi super show, and they've seen it.
There are Argentinian fans that have travelled a long way to see their country, but there are a lot of fans from around the world, especially the Americans, the locals, or maybe just, I mean, what is local in America? When they pay all the money, there's a lot of talk about the prices of tickets at the moment.
Well, that's sloppy, that's given away. And might here come to Mazza on the edge of the D, but again, it's not a best touch by the youngster. I think the events have got to him, and he's lost his way a little bit. And Argentina will now bring it away with Nico Paz. Between the left touchline and the edge of the penalty area, Nico Gonzalez tries to keep the ball in play, shrugged his shoulders, couldn't keep it in play. Absolutely drenched in sweat. It's a goal kick to Algeria to be taken by Luka Zidane, who had no chance with that third. 2 more Algerian substitutes. This will bring it to an end now. Zarouki is going to come on, and Bulbina is the other substitute to come on for Algeria. Zarouki, Romez Zarouki, who's on loan at 20, and Nadir Ben Bouali, who's come on for them, or it's Bulbina who's come on for him, plays out in the Middle East at Al Duhail.
There's a bit of conversation who's coming off. I think it's Mazza, I think. Is it? No, yeah, I think it's Mazza that's coming off. And it's not necessarily been his evening. A lot of talk around him. I thought that he is, Mazzadonna, as they're calling him. But he's been handled really well by this Argentinian team. They've made sure he didn't have the spaces to operate it. And I wish they'd done the same to Messi, giving him less room, less opportunities. Because as we were just discussing, he hasn't disappointed this crowd who've paid an awful lot of money. Many travelled far and wide just to sometimes get a glimpse of him, to say they've seen the great man play, to watch him play in a World Cup as the holder. I'll ask captain to pick it up. And it's not a game that you can guarantee things happening. Our game, football, two 11s going at each other, you can't guarantee anything, but is he as close to a guarantee as you can get? Maybe he is. Another hat-trick, and everybody will bow to him as he left the field.
Remember that World Cup game against Iran? I was lucky enough to do that one as well when they were struggling to break them down. Was that in Russia? Was it, or might have been an earlier one? I can't remember. But free kick right at the end of the game. They had no idea how to break down a stubborn defence, and up he stood. One man to take the free kick, and he bent it beautifully in that day. So many cherished memories. Argentina lead 3-0. Messi with a hat-trick. Bobina and Zaruk have come on, by the way, for Mazza, and was it Chaibi's gone off for them? Anyway, it's pulled out of the defence here for Algeria and dropped to the feet. No, there's that Chaibi still on the field of play.
Maybe it was Bentaleb.
It was Bentaleb, he's gone off. I think he struggled as well. Must be very, very humid down there at pitch level. They often have storms here in this particular part of the Midwest in Kansas. I mean, some big storms here and whirlwinds and that can take you off to the Yellow Brick Road. You never know what's going to happen here on Osman later on tonight. We are in Kansas, Toto.
I always take my magic slippers everywhere I go.
I've seen you in them. Riyad Mahrez for Algeria. Looks left-hand side, left corner of the penalty. It's chested down on that far side. No way through for them. Now there might be. Norris scampers to the dead ball and pulls in across. It's headed away by Gonzalez for Argentina. Decent players. Squad is quite deep, Argentina. They'll need to use them because they've got aging players. They're only the 8th oldest squad, by the way. So they've given away a free kick here, right on the edge of the penalty that I think they will argue against. And they're doing exactly that because I think they believe they should have gone a free kick to they should have had a free kick their way. We've seen pictures in the stadium of an Argentine shirt held up 10 with the word Messias instead of Messi on it. Whereas McAllister's fouled his man there, hasn't he, Leon?
Yeah, I think he has. I think by the standards of refereeing today, it's probably a softer one. I think just Aouar just took the ball across his body on the back foot, just got his body in between the challenge of McAllister and the ball. And it's a free kick in a good area.
Mahrez will take it, I think. Emiliano Martinez will be fuming if Argentina concede a goal at this late stage. 5 minutes to go. 3-0 up on 5 Live. On this massive day of football for you, the England-Croatia headlining at 9 o'clock tonight with Johnny Murray and Paul Robinson. Mahrez, 2 yards from the left of the ball. Peering into that wall, focusing, hits it left foot, hits the wall. Come off the upper shoulder of someone and bounces away towards the far side where Julian Alvarez will challenge for it, and DePaul's across there as well. And DePaul, I think, has shepherded the ball out of play. Oh, he thought he had as well. He thought it should be an Argentina throw. From my first glance, I agreed with him, and it's gone the other way, and Nori takes it. We've got just over 4 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Messi on 17 minutes, 60 minutes and 76 minutes. His 3 goals, his first ever World Cup hat-trick.
I think that's the only surprise about Messi at the moment, that for everything he's done, for the goals we see him score, lifted the World Cup himself. That's the first hat-trick he scored in a World Cup finals.
Miroslav Klose's record is equalled and will be bettered in this World Cup. Even if Messi doesn't score another goal, you'd think that Kylian Mbappe would. Now Chaibi, who started the game very well, hasn't had that much influence in the second half, whereas Chaibi, he's on the ball again, now in a more central position. to his left-hand side, 2 yards away. He clips the ball, but it's a terrible return to him by Ben Sibani, who then has to slide in and win the ball back again. And Algeria go down their left-hand side. And Argentina backpedal to the edge of the penalty area. Ignore it. Looks to get the ball into the penalty area. Backward a square, 5 yards away from him. Almost in the centre of the pitch is Shaibi. So they angle out wide to Riyad Mahrez, jinking, trying to take his man on. Checks again, rolls his right foot over the ball. Then left foot, little side foot pass out towards the right-hand touch. And in comes the cross, and it's easily dealt with. Well, it's not easily dealt with in the end. They didn't clear their lines very well. Rami Zarouki, who got the first cross in his ear, to try and get a second ball into the penalty area. A little bit of late pressure from Algeria. It's all too little, too late. We're into the last 2.5 minutes of play as they switch play to that left-hand side, and it's cleared away.
Yeah, just a little bit too little, too late for Algeria. As this late pressure comes, I thought they'd be a little bit better than they have been tonight. I was expecting a little bit more from them. Take nothing away from Argentina, who continue as they left off last time out in the World Cup, being very pragmatic with that 2 banks to 4. Front 2 working hard. Actually looked very organised. Scaloni's got them working for each other again and looking. The distances are all good between themselves defensively.
89 World Cup games they've played in their history. This will be win 48. They've been in 19 finals now out of a possible 23. One of the great World Cup nations, of course. Algeria in possession, centre circle, 3-0 down. It's Rami Zarouki with long hair, lean body, back to his goalkeeper. Zidane was certainly looking at himself for a couple of the goals, I think. Could he have got stronger hands on the first from Messi? He dropped the shot from McAllister for Messi to tuck in the second. Otamendi clears it away for Argentina. 133 internationals for him. Started the World Cup final 4 years ago. Perhaps lucky to play, had a ban lifted. He had 2 yellows sending off in the final qualifier, but FIFA sort of ruled them out, and also Cristiano Ronaldo, so he could play here in these World Cup finals. Should be featuring for Portugal against DR Congo. We're deep into the last minute of play now. Zarouki, 2 yards away inside that centre circle is Riyad Mahrez. It's this curious ball from him, wasteful, straight to a man in blue and white. What an impact they've made on their first day in defence of their title, Leon.
Yeah, they've done all they can do. I think they've been themselves. I think sometimes when you wait for the holders to play, and you wait as long as you have done, maybe they'd sit in their hotel rooms and a little bit anxious and a little bit desperate to get out there on the field. And they've gone out and actually carried on where they left off. Defended well, look organised, made sure Messi gets the ball in the right areas of the field. And if you do that, you've always got a chance.
Medina played it in from the left side to McAllister, who's put under pressure, managed to work the ball out of play though. McAllister, his red neck. A lot of the players have got, I don't know whether they've been out in the sun, but it looks as if they've got a bit of sunburn. All caked in sweat. Throw into Argentina, so he didn't manage to keep the ball in Argentina.
No, he took too long.
Yeah.
Referee changed his mind, didn't he? That new rule that's come in. Argentina falling foul of it there.
It's happened 3 or 4 times actually in the tournament now, and it's gone unnoticed virtually. I mean, you picked up on that. I hadn't noticed it, but it'd be interesting if that continues that way. It becomes just the norm in the game.
Yeah, it seems a pretty good rule at the moment. No hanging around, no taking too long. You know you've got to get on with it. The referee holds his hand up 5 seconds from that moment. There's been no moaning about the decisions. Players, the ones we've seen so far in the tournament, nobody's complained. They've just put the ball down, got on with the game. As new rules are supposed to take effect when you're trying to make the game better.
Jeopardy's gone out of the game, of course. We're now a minute and a quarter into 6 minutes of stoppage time. Argentina have a throw-in on their right-hand side. All about the established stars. They've got minutes into Nico Paz, the 21-year-old Tenerife-born Como player. Dad Pablo played in World Cup '98. He's a good young player who was Serie A's midfielder of the year this season. So he's got minutes. In possession is Ben Sibani. To Ramiz Zerouki, Amsterdam-born, on loan at Twente Enschede from Feyenoord. And Algeria, no great urgency to get the ball up top. And Emiliano Martinez has not had a shot to save.
Nope, nothing really, nothing of note. Maybe he's had to pick the ball up, maybe something's come his way, but he's certainly not been stretched. Again, this second half, when I felt that Algeria needed to go in search of the game, and maybe did improve somewhat at times, nothing of note on target, was there? Nothing that's really going to stretch an Argentinian defence or a goalkeeper of his quality. Been disappointed, Algeria, they really have.
One or two big disappointments so far. Paraguay very disappointing against the USA, who were very good, really thrived in a great atmosphere. Brazil weren't great, were they?
No, they weren't. They were a team that benefited from that hydration break, weren't they?
Netherlands disappointing so far, but the big names have come good today. And here's Julian Alvarez. Argentina keeping possession. Enzo Fernandez. Little turn and he plays the ball back then to Alvarez. Deep inside the Algerian half. Now they come back into their own half with the ball at the feet of Alexis McAllister, and Argentina playing keep ball in these closing moments. Halfway through the 6 minutes of stoppage time. Algeria don't want to engage. So it's just one pass after another for Argentina. McAllister gets it back again. A few olays breaking out from the Argentine fans. Everywhere you can see in the stadium, really, blue and white striped shirts. There's one end where the Algerian fans mainly are gathered. But throughout this World Cup, you've seen pockets of supporters sitting amongst the supporters of the rival side. Segregation doesn't really exist in these World Cup finals. A little bit of trouble seen today between Argentine and Algerian flags in Times Square in New York, of all places. A bit of pushing and scuffing, a couple of fists thrown. But I don't know whether or not they're going to have to learn lessons about segregating fans as the tournament goes on. Let's hope not. Let's hope they don't need to. McAllister inside his own penalty area, back to Martinez. How long have Argentina kept possession here, Leon? Seems to have gone on for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I don't think the pressure from Algeria is up to it at the moment. I don't think they're really too engaged in trying to win the ball back. As you said, the jeopardy from the game is all but gone as players are just trying to play out the remaining seconds on the clock.
Well, one thing Vladimir Petkovic did when he was in charge of Switzerland for those 7 years, he made them very, very difficult to beat. Euro 16 round of 16, Euro 20 quarterfinals, World Cup 18 round of 16. But Algeria have not been difficult to beat today. You have the ball on 5 live, training 3-0, deep inside stoppage time. How long we got left now? Just over a minute. And Zerouki, to his right-hand side, finds Issa Mandi with a long ball out to that left-hand touchline. Too long, too high for Ryan Ait-Nouri. They've got good players in this Algerian squad, and they could well bounce back here in this group and make it through to the later stages. They play Jordan next up in Santa Clara on the 22nd.
I expect them to bounce back. I'd expect them to beat Jordan, and then a crucial game against Austria, which they'll expect they can perform better in. I just don't know if they came here and mentally lost the game before they started. They looked like they weren't ready for the challenge against a team like Argentina, a nation like Argentina. That's the way it played out, because you're right, they have some good players, but those good players gave the ball away an awful lot this evening. Well, that man there on us that we're seeing at the moment, Messi certainly didn't.
He's been writing stories and headlines for the last 20 years of World Cup football, and he's written another one today. 3-0 to Argentina. He has them all. It's a late free kick that Emi Martinez will take. This could be the last kick of the game. It is. And it's been all about the superstars on this day in the World Cup, because Kylian Mbappe got 2 and Erling Haaland got 2, and Lionel Messi said, you get 2, I'll get 3. He got a hat-trick. Brilliant goals. The first, super. Second was a gift as the goalkeeper spilled a shot for McAllister. And the third, another classic goal 14 minutes from time. And they've beaten Algeria out of sight here. They've lost 3-0.
Yeah, and they deserve to. And as much as we'll say Algeria were disappointing, Argentina were very good. They did everything that was asked of them. They kept a clean sheet. And a lot of talk about them defensively in this tournament, whether they can be good enough in that area to really sustain a run for winning the trophy again. And they were good in that area. They were organised, and in Messi, they've always got a match winner in the team. And when you're defending a trophy, you want to start well the next time you're playing, and they've certainly done that. They've put a marker down. Messi's also put a marker down for the golden boot of the tournament. So those, well, he's up against all the time in Ronaldo, but also to the young pups that are coming through. Your Erling Haalands, and well, we can't call Mbappe a young pup anymore. And Messi said, I'm still here to score goals, I'm still here to play. It was a perfect start for Argentina.
I remember in the build-up to 2018, they fielded 4 different formations in that final. In qualification, they had 18 lineups, but now it's all about stability and the old familiar faces. Half of this team started the World Cup final 4 years ago. And 20 years ago to the day, a very young man called Lionel Messi scored his first World Cup finals goal against Serbia. I was privileged to be there that day in the commentary position. I'm privileged to be here today as Lionel Messi.